Chapter 730, Movement. The sound from the Phoenix court stopped abruptly. The intelligence was over, and he left, just as before. Phoenix court suddenly burst out laughing. This caught the attention of the captain of the 4th Squad, Kanuta. "You seem very happy." Phoenix Courtman turned back and said to him with a smile, "Of course I'm very happy. Hey, my friend. I have some great news for you. This time, you can make a fortune. And I need you to change the direction you're going." Phoenix Courtman narrowed his eyes. "Your pirate group's target has been changed to Tianhai City. I need you to help me take out a thorny figure first." Kanuta looked at him with a gloomy face. "A thorny figure for me to deal with?" Phoenix Courtman placed a finger to his lips. "Don't be nervous. It's a bit tricky for us, but not necessarily for you. Besides, you should know how wealthy Tianhai City is." Kanuta laughed. "Rogue, you'd better be telling the truth. If I find out you're trying to trick me, you'll never be able to sail again in your life." "I wouldn't dare." Phoenix Courtman shrugged, but a sneer of disdain flashed in the depths of his eyes. "Now, as long as we follow Mayumi's guidance, we can avoid the Navy and safely land on the opposite shore. When that time comes, please feel free to plunder whatever you want." For half a month, in preparation for the next mission to encircle and destroy Eclipse Moon, the entire Blizzard City had placed the focus of all work on this. The Tengu Squad and Reincarnation Squad were given nothing but the top resources. Inside and outside the city, the only topic of conversation was when they would fight Eclipse Moon again and avenge their previous humiliation. At this time in Blizzard City, annihilating Eclipse Moon had become the most important thing. In order to achieve this goal, all other matters would be temporarily put aside. That night, the Defense Department of the Combat Command Center suddenly issued an alert. An enemy had appeared near the Jiangnan region. After receiving the news, Zhu Jing was the first to get out of bed and quickly rushed to the Combat Command Center. Not just him, but all the combatants immediately took their positions. They were not unprepared for a night attack. Zhu Jing got into the car and started the meeting with the top brass at the operations center, already wearing his headset. "Gone, where did the enemy appear? Can you confirm it was Eclipse Moon?" The Minister of Defense replied, "The area with abnormal responses is offshore, and there are not just one area, but 3. Zhu Jing frowned and sneered, "Looks like they've brought reinforcements." "Never mind, we'll wipe them out this time." The defense minister continued, "There are shielded gaps in the seas around Tianhai City, Linhai City, and Huazhou City. These ships have bypassed the naval defense line. We basically judge that they are people from Eclipse Moon. They used their prophetic abilities to avoid the naval patrol." Zhu Jing said with a cold face, "Send out drones for reconnaissance. At least we need to determine who the other party is. Drones have limited mobility in extremely cold temperatures and cannot perform too complicated combat missions. However, using their own high-definition cameras, they can still capture images of the invading troops." The defense minister replied, "Yes." He immediately went offline and arranged for someone to find out who the invading enemy was on these 3 routes. Zhu Jing then instructed his secretary, Lan Xinqing, "Notify everyone in the Tengu Squad and Reincarnation Squad to immediately assemble at the operations center. This time, we will keep the enemy out of our country and not allow them to stir up trouble on our soil." Lan Xinqing nodded, "Understood." Zhu Jing, on the other hand, personally called Li Guangxiao of the East China Sea region. He demanded that they dispatch the Navy to quickly arrive at the outer waters of Linhai City, Tianhai City, and Huazhou City to block the enemy's escape routes. In this battle, all of these people must be killed, not a single one left behind. Otherwise, the Jiangnan region will be plagued with endless calamities in the future. The wolves in the shadows will be unable to wait to pounce. Zhang Yi, on the other hand, was sleeping soundly. But the sound of the communication device immediately woke him up. His sleep had always been very light, and the slightest noise could wake him up. After waking up, Zhang Yi glanced at the time and saw that it was midnight. And the name on the satellite phone read Launching City. He picked up the phone and connected. Hello, Secretary Lan. Captain Zhang, the enemy is here. Please lead your team to the Operations Command Center immediately. Tonight, there will be a battle. Zhang Yi's gaze became sharp. I'll be right there. Without further ado, he got up from the bed, got dressed, and contacted by Li Changqing to summon all the team members to assemble. Then he went to the next room and woke Liang Yu and Yang Xinxin. The Eclipse people are here. Get ready and go to the Operations Center to assemble. Zhang Yi was organizing his equipment while talking. The captain-level combat uniform was specially made. He had asked for one of the same model as Deng Shintong's through his cooperative relationship with Deng Yuanbo. It was the most technologically advanced product in the region. The suit had many hidden pockets. It could hold daggers, medicine, bullets, bombs, and so on. It was resistant to high temperatures and extreme cold, and even the built-in black battle suit was the latest model. Its defense and practicality were both superb. There were only 2 combat suits like this in the entire Deng family. Zhang Yi was actually wearing Deng Shintong's spare model. After putting on his equipment, Zhang Yi checked the large number of weapons in the other space again. All weapons were in a state of readiness and could be taken out and used at any time. The guns were on safety, and other combat items were in perfect condition. Zhang Yi confirmed his own weapons and equipment in the shortest possible time. Yang Xinxin and Liang Yu did not dare to be negligent either. After Zhang Yi exited the room, the two began to equip themselves and check each other. As for Hua Hua, due to its transformation characteristics, there was no suitable weapons and equipment for it to use. However, its natural fur was the best armor. Beasts in battle were usually stronger than modern humans. 15 minutes later, the 3 people and the cat walked out of the villa. It was dark at night, but there were hundreds of searchlights in Blizzard City shooting into the endless night sky, lighting up the city. Yin Yunwei people were already waiting outside, and they had prepared cars for Zhang Yi and the others. A few people got into the car and set off without a moment's rest towards the operations center. Before long, while driving on the main road, they noticed other similar vehicles also heading towards the operations center. Members of the Reincarnation Squad, members of the Tengu Squad, and the Yan Yunwei's senior management, as well as the senior management of the Operations Command, were all converging on the Operations Center. Chapter 731, 3 Routes of Enemy Soldiers. Zhang Yi and the others arrived at the Operations Center. Gao Changkong's car arrived before him, and after seeing Zhang Yi, he hurriedly came over to greet him. "Chaos, you're here. Let's hurry up and go up, time is of the essence." Gao Changkong called Zhang Yi by his code name. When on a special mission, names are not used to avoid disclosing important personal information. Zhang Yi was a little uncomfortable at first, but after a while, he got used to it. He nodded and kept walking with Gao Changkong towards the elevator. As for the others, they were not qualified to participate in high-level meetings and were waiting below. "Do you know anything?" "Will King." Will King was Gao Changkong's code name. Gao Changkong shook his head. "I was just notified like you, let's talk about it upstairs." The two got into the elevator and headed straight for the operations command room. After the two arrived, most of the people in the command room were already there. After all, these top-level personnel were the first to be notified, and only afterwards were the front-line combat troops. Zhu Jin glanced at them and waved at the two of them. "Chaos, Will King, sit down quickly. Listen to what the Ministry of Defense has to say." Zhang Yi and Gao Changkong found a seat and sat down. The Minister of Defense wasted no time. Time was precious at the moment, and not a single second should be wasted, so they dispensed with the formalities. A hologram appeared in the center of the conference room. After a short while, the door to the conference room opened and Tu Yunlai, the Minister of Operations, arrived. He glanced around the room and sat down not far from Zhang Yi and the others. With the core members of the combat force all present, the Minister of Defense did not wait any longer. He pointed at the hologram, and 3 red dots immediately appeared on it. This discovery has suddenly revealed 3 enemy forces along the coast. Currently, based on our reconnaissance, we have basically determined their identities. He pointed his hand at Huazhou City. In the waters near Huazhou City, what appeared was the Ronin organization from the surrounding waters of Japan. This is a gang of more than 500 members. They are based in Ropefly Island and are engaged in both land and sea banditry. Then his hand pointed to Linhai City. Linhai City. We found the symbol of the erosion moon and many of their members. It can basically be concluded that the main force of the erosion moon is here. Zhang Yi and Gao Changkong stared at the location of Linhai City, their eyes flashing with a strange light. The erosion moon was their most wanted enemy. However, then the hand of the Minister of Defense pointed to a third location, which made Zhang Yi's eyes change. Tianhai City. What appeared in these nearby waters was a member of the Tianwang pirates, who ruled the southern seas like kings. This pirate group has a total of 7 fleets, and their strength is very fierce. They have already destroyed multiple small kingdoms. Although in terms of scale, only one of their fleets has come. But to deal with it, we would need to deploy a large number of troops. After listening to the words of the defense minister, the atmosphere in the meeting room became solemn. It was originally thought that the reinforcements invited by Eclipse were just a bunch of riffraff. However, the appearance of the Tenryu pirates has put them under a lot of pressure. The Ronin organization is okay to say, although there are many people, but Ronin are idle people, and although there are many people, their strength may not be that fearsome. However, the Tenryu pirates are basically composed of professional soldiers and gang members from various countries in the southern waters. After a long period of fighting, they have already gained considerable combat effectiveness. Zhang Yi's gaze fell on Zhu Zheng's body. The current situation is that either you choose to split your forces into 3 lines of battle, or you concentrate your superior forces and destroy one place first. It depends on how Zhu Zheng arranges things. However, the thought that Tianhai City has also become the target of others makes him feel a little worried. Fortunately, he had considered this outcome before and instructed the people of Tianhai City in advance. Shokur and the others need not be mentioned. As long as they don't leave the sanctuary, even if the entire Tenryu pirates' army attacks, they won't be able to harm them. That was top-notch fortification that could withstand a missile strike. As for Xiao Honglian, Xing Tian, and Chen Jingwan's families, it depended on whether they had followed Zhang Yi's orders to the letter. The enemy had deployed 3 armies, but Zhu Zheng was unruffled. The Tianwang pirates? This rabble is simply tired of living, daring to lay hands on our Huashu kingdom. We will settle accounts with them after this matter. For now, let's first eliminate the invading enemy. Zhu Zheng's gaze shifted, landing on Zhang Yi and Gao Changkong. Chaos, Tianhai City is your territory, and you are very familiar with it. So you will lead the Tengu squad to Tianhai City and first deal with the Tianwang pirates. Zhang Yi let out a sigh of relief. Although the pirates were numerous, in his opinion, their strength should not be comparable to Eclipse Moon, which was made up of elite members. It would be much easier to deal with them. Zhu Zheng was obviously taking care of him by sending him to Tianhai City, taking into account his strength. Of course, this referred to Zhang Yi's strength as judged by Zhu Zheng himself. Yes, Commander. Zhang Yi accepted the task. Zhu Zheng looked at Gao Changkong again. Will King, the people in Linhai City are from Eclipse Moon. You lead the reincarnation squad to stop them. But don't be in a hurry to fight them to the death. After all, they have the power of prophecy and are not easy to deal with. Use your abilities to delay them and avoid a fight to the death. Then wait for the Tengu squad to finish off the pirates and go join forces with you. Together, we will deal with Eclipse Moon and avoid too many casualties. Gao Changkong, yes, Commander. People had already been arranged to deal with the 2 routes. Next, there was still no one to deal with the organization in Huazhou City. Zhu Zheng's eyes looked at Tu Yunlai. Zhu Rong, you lead 500 Yan Yunwei under your command and go to Huazhou. Upon hearing this codename, Zhang Yi subconsciously began to analyze Tu Yunlia's abilities. The god of fire, Zhurong, was an absolutely powerful ancient deity. Tu Yunlia's ability was fire. No, one couldn't make such a simple judgment. Zhang Yi pondered in his heart, just as I would use to conceal my true abilities, Tu Yunlia's code name might also be a kind of concealment. Tu Yunlia's half of his face was hidden in the wide imperial robe, and it was impossible to see his expression. However, one could feel the burning fighting spirit in his eyes. Yes, Commander. Lan Xinchen, however, raised an objection. General Zhu, if the Yin Yunwei are mobilized, who will guard Blizzard City? Blizzard City is run on a military-style management system. Everyone does their own job and performs their own duties on fixed routes. And now that Tu Yunwei, who was responsible for defending Blizzard City, has been transferred away, it is inevitable that the defense of Blizzard City will be weakened.